Gotta wave. Gotta wave, right? Peter's the director, co-writer, editor, and wrote Act 1 of Under the Mercy. Without him, there'd be no beginning. Also, Eric Scott. Also a co-writer, Eric wrote, can you get it? The middle, that's right. Eric wrote the middle. See how I'm doing this? It would have been very quiet in between. And then our third, of course, writer, none other than Joe Cunningham. He's that guy. So, if you could actually, we could start with Ronnie. Yep, just give yourself, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, tell us the role that you played.
Hi everybody, my name is Ronnie Edwards. I played the panhandler, the one who called my boy right here, white boy, not white girl. Anybody got some questions?
Well, let me start. I want to ask a question of everybody as we go on down, and then we'll open it up for the whole audience. So, Ronnie, one question. I got to tell you, man, you look like you were just dripping in sweat in that scene. Like
when she did the makeup, they like made it look like I had all this sweat and everything on me. And also another thing was like, the beard's gone. The day, in fact, I kept asking them the same day, like, are we done filming? Because this is, like, as soon as I leave here, I'm shaving this. This is gone. Like, I'm not doing this. But they also had this, like, makeup that they have for your teeth, too. And it was disgusting. But it was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, every time you see me talking in the movie, it's, these are my real teeth. That is not me. Not panhandling them, got that stuff on my teeth. As you can see right now, I am not sweating.
No, you look great, Ronnie. You look great. Thank you very much. I tell you, we did consider, asking Ronnie to panhandle out in front, just to give us.
I was gonna do it too. I wouldn't have had a beard, but I was gonna do it.
We like seeing you all dressed up nice.
Appreciate it,
Ronnie. Next up, Dave, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a quick intro? I said a lot about
Well, yeah, I think you've said all that needs to be said. So there's nothing more to be said. No, Ronnie's my one and only piece of ADR in the whole movie. One and only. And it was my fault, not his. So we did it. And he nailed it, man. He nailed it. It was just a joy, really a joy to work on the film. And honestly, I forgot about the score because I was so engrossed in doing the sound for the movie and doing the re-record, and all the remix that I haven't heard the score in like 2 years. So tonight I actually enjoyed the movie for like the first time in 2 years. And man, Joe, it's just been so wonderful, just so great to get together. And I know we're going to have we're working on the Sentinel right now, which is Joe's next film, which I know is going to be great. And we'll see how that goes. But I meant to mention earlier, we're working on the next Trent Lockwood episode as well. Which takes place on the Greek islands, so that's going to be an awful lot of fun. I'm learning a lot about Greek music, so that's fun, too.
Well, if you're filming on location for that one, James, I'd be delighted to be that villain.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, because I had to visit the set, because I like to really get involved in the process, so it was nice to go to the Greek islands.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Dave.
I'm Joe Cunningham. I played Chad Luce. I wanted to mention that Dave had to listen to me vomit like 1,000 times. So thank you, Dave, for going through all that.
So Joe, I think a lot of us know, but some of us we just want to hear you say it. So in that bathroom scene, in the sink, did you what was it? You just have like milk in your mouth and it fell out, or what? Tell me.
Peter wanted to shoot that first part with, me fake doing everything. But I had read when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet, so I think it was an urban legend that you could not swallow an entire gallon of milk. So I proved that that night. I think I threw up like 10 times. But it worked out really well.
Terrific. It looks so real coming back out like that.
Yeah, I had drank a whole bottle of vodka and I think a whole pot of coffee with the band right before. So that definitely contributed. Don't do that.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Joe. Peter.
Hello, I'm Peter Mahan. I was the director. I don't really have a whole lot to say, but I would like to put Joe on the spot. What you just saw was a piece of paper, 11 sheets of paper for about 8 months. It was finished, but it was Joe that said, "No, let's make this movie," and he did. His skills as a producer are way off the charts. If it was up to me, it would not have gotten made. Not because I don't like to make movies, but producing skills are just not my thing. So thank you, Joe, for producing.
Now, before you give that away, Peter, I want to ask. So, yes, you wrote the first act. You introduced us all to Chad Luce. Tell me a little bit about how you created Chad, what you wanted to share with everybody as you introduced him to the world.
Yeah, the initial log line that we were working with, there was nothing in it that made him sound like it would be a kind of person that we would like or admire for any reason. He was a total loser, but I decided that I wanted to make sure that this character had the redeeming qualities, because I believe that everybody does. He didn't start out life as a drug addict. He fell into it and then he couldn't get out, and so this movie was about the perils of addiction. So I wanted to make sure that people could see him not only as that drug dealer in that opening scene doing all the bad stuff that he does, but also I wanted to see in that scene with Mrs. Oliveri that he actually had a history. He had a history of being a little boy, a sweet little boy with a future, and she loved him. She's the only one in the film that saw anything in him. So I wanted to just establish that. And then even Mr. Reynolds, there was a history there as well. At one point, Joe's character comments about, "Hey, when I was a little boy, I remember a photo you had on your desk." So there's a whole lot of harking back to the fact that somebody at one point in their life was not that guy. And he was more than that guy.
Terrific. Thank you, Peter. Let's move on down to Eric.
Hi. Eric Scott, currently working on a pen name Howland Crow. That's, something I'm working on.
I would have called you Howland, but that's not what was written on the screen. So
I know. We talked about changing it in the credits, but apparently it was a little too difficult to change. And I'm like, okay, well, as long as I'm credited as one or the other on IMDb, I'm good.
So you wrote the second act.
Yeah.
So, tell me about challenges of having, the Chad character evolve from Act 1 through yours to Act 3.
That was a very thankless job. Because, I had a Peter's section and I had Joe's section, and I had this thankless job of having to tie that together. And I was just like, okay, I only have originally it was like a 15-page script, something like that. What was that 11? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Originally I only had 3 pages to work with. And I'm like, okay, so I basically have to show a character arc in 3 or 4 pages. And I knew it would have to be a very dialogue-heavy scene, so then I kind of came up with the idea of the panhandler, which I drew from some personal experience. I never was a panhandler, but about 10 years ago I was homeless for about a year, so I was very immersed in that sort of world. I just kind of had the idea that, the only thing really like that might get Chad to change his mind about what he was going through or what he was doing and such was this person a panhandler that society typically looks down on, having more of a moral backbone than him. So that's kind of where I went with that.
Terrific. What a way to accomplish the impossible task of connecting Peter to Joe. Yep. Great job. Yeah, let's move on now. Who's sitting next to you?
So this is what it's like to have a microphone on a stage. I'm great. I'm Aaron. I'm Sonny, the junkie. And yeah, I met Joe at the mall, and we did makeup there. And we were walking around the mall looking like zombies for about 2.5 hours. And people were looking at us like we were crazy, walking away from us like, who the hell are these people? And I didn't know how to get into character for this, and Joe said, I got a handle of vodka in my car if you're ready. And so yeah, I did it. And we went to this abandoned building that was built in like the early 1900s. And it was hot as hell in there. It had an elevator that was made out of wood that you had to push by hand to get up there. And once you got up there, it was boiling. But it worked out perfectly. Everything was great. The movie came out great. Everything is great.
So I gotta ask, how did you keep a straight face during all of that, knowing what was going on, what the end result was gonna be, and it being so darn hot?
I was just waiting for Joe to drop me. That way I can start to smile because I couldn't hold a straight face for very long. I was looking at his face, he was looking at my face, and it was weird, and I just wanted to bust out laughing, and it was tough, but we did about 5, 6, 7, 8 takes, and it ended up working at some point. But I did end up cracking up about 6, 7 times. It was tough, but we did it.
Excellent, and it came out great.
It came out fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You already know who I am. I held the camera. Well, actually, uncredited in the film was my tripod, which did the brunt of the work. I just gotta press the buttons.
So tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you were super involved with the movie, obviously, right? Because it was on camera.
Yeah, I was there, I mean, for every shoot, so I think that's pretty involved. But let's be honest, they only got me because I would do it for free and I had a camera, so.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, for them.
So what can you tell me about challenges? I mean, there were shots there in a nightclub, there was outdoor shots at night, some in the day. How did you overcome that to produce the lighting that you needed?
Let's say Peter, he had things planned out pretty well, you know, storyboards and all that. I would not usually look at them, but they would give me kind of a guideline so I would know what to ignore and then just kind of do my own thing. Worked out pretty well.
Excellent. So, great job listening, Jay.
Thanks, yeah. Oh yeah, I was in a wheelchair and they were pushing me around when I held the camera. That's why I look so smooth and not shaky. Thanks, Dave.
Nice. Oh, secrets of the trade.
Yeah, I know. Use that.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to when we open this up to the audience about what other treasures we might uncover. So let's keep passing that microphone down.
Hi folks, I'm Andy Skinner. I was the junkie at the start of the movie. I saw the casting call for the movie and I reached out and I said, hey, I'd like to be part of it. And Joe offered me the part of a junkie and I thought I was just gonna do something as simple as like snorting coke on a table, but he had so much more for me to do and I had so much fun.
I must say, you clean up great, man. How long did it take to get the makeup done?
I think it was about maybe 15, 20 minutes.
And talk me through some of that experience. So after you had that on you, what was it like going through and not messing it up?
Well, I threw on the outfit and then I got into the makeup and I looked at myself in the mirror and part of me just knew what I had to do next, so I just started walking around the set, trying to remember, how did I feel like when I was, the few times I've been intoxicated or sick, and I actually had a really bad stomach ache that day as well, so I decided to just run with it, just take all that stuff and just channel it all into my performance, and just a little bit, yeah.
Excellent, right? Way to take what's actually going on and applying it to your character. Fantastic. Great job. Great job.
I gotta tell you, this was the first day of shooting that we shot that club scene. And man, you really, really pissed me off. Because I didn't know who you were. So I'm setting up to do this recording, and you were like a real pain in the ass. And acting your thing. And I didn't know you were in the movie till I saw the scene that I was doing the thing. But man, you were great.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Excellent. The perfect junkie. I love it. Terrific. Okay, so that could be another movie, sure. All right, now at this time, we're going to open it up to the audience. First, I'd like to invite Rebecca to come on up and join us on stage. Where'd she go? Oh, she's coming. She's coming. While Rebecca's making her way, who else has been involved in one of these 3 films that we saw here today? Yeah, so let's do this quick roll call. Who here was involved in the Trent Lockwood film? If everybody could just stand up real quick and we can appreciate. Yeah, well, it's you. Well, and Dave, you should have to stand up too. Okay, and the tripod, but we didn't bring it, right? Yeah, my tripod will stand in for it. Now, the second movie, Where I've Been, who was involved with that one? Everybody could just stand up. We got somebody out there. Peter. Yeah, James. Wait. You didn't bring the tripod, so it has to be you. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Sure. Another round of applause, please. And everybody that was involved in Under the Mercy, if they could also please stand. That was so quick. We didn't even get to see you. Excellent. Oh, yes, and here we go. Sure. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you all. So as you can see, it is, right, the village makes movies for the village. Absolutely. Right? We all work together, and that's how we get things done. In the movie industry, film, and just here in central New York. You gotta stay warm and dry tonight. So. All right, now I'd like to open this up to questions and answers, or questions from the audience, and our indelible cast on stage here will be thrilled to provide answers. Oh, I'm coming. Terrific. Here you go.
So Pete, when you were talking about the photo, how you made Chad a person with a history as a little boy, and how he mentioned about Mr. Reynolds, and then at the end of the movie, when he sees the picture over Sonny, those were 2 different scenes. I'm thinking, Joe, you wrote the end. Pete, you wrote the beginning. Did you collaborate together to tie that? Because he didn't kill Sonny because he saw that photo. That's how I interpreted it. Because he saw him as a human being with a family. Did you guys collaborate on that?
That scene was actually Eric's scene, and we had to do a number of things along the way based on the actual location. But at some point, I think the 2 of us had a discussion about it. Were you in on that? About having that look? Okay. Yeah. So it was just more of a discussion that we had you know, anybody that makes films know that what you start out with is not really what always gets shot. And so it was just a decision that was made at some point between the three of us. But thank you for pointing that out. That was very integral. You know, he could have taken the easy way out and killed Sonny because he was this close to dying anyway, right? Who's going to notice, right? He's a non-person at that point. So when he saw the picture of the little boy, the same thing. It's like, oh, this is a person with a history, and it was a pleasant history at one point.
Terrific. Thank you, Peter. And thank you for your question. You have earned an Under the Mercy DVD. Who has our next question? Oh, are you sure? There seems to be some confusion. Oh, I think she does.
Hi, Aaron. Will you marry me?
No. Well, that just mildly, that's all right. All right, next question.
Joe, you said you're working on another movie called The Sentinel?
Yes, it's a feature film. Thank you for your question, Jamie. Jamie was also in the film. She was the bank manager with Chuck there in that scene. Thank you, Jamie, for being in the movie. Yes, I'm working on I just finished the script last year. It's a feature. It's called The Sentinel. It's about a veteran with PTSD who is struggling to take care of his young son. And my son, Harrison, who's sitting right over here, he plays my son in the movie. And we started filming in June. That's why I look like Harrison calls me a homeless man. But I interviewed a couple of veterans, and one of them looked like this, so I went with this look. And anyway, so we started filming in June. We're about 10% through the script, and we're going to be filming for about a year. So yeah, Dave's doing the score, and a lot of these guys are in it. So anyway, yes, that's the answer.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. Jamie, here you go. You are Under the Mercy DVD. You're welcome. Okay, so now I have some trivia for you guys. Let's see who was paying attention. Who wants to volunteer the answer? The opening scene takes place in a bank. What bank was it? I need to walk around with more of these. Oh, so we have a hand raised all the way in the back. I'm coming to you. She's all comfortable on the couch. Should have known it was the person furthest away from my stack of DVDs. Here you go. What bank was it?
It was Cooperative Federal.
Cooperative Federal. And you have earned a DVD. You're welcome. And who are you?
My name is Melquia Smith, and I'm the fiance of Eric Scott.
Woohoo, congratulations. Excellent. Other questions? Who else has a question? Yes.
Yes, hi Joe. Great movie. It turned out great. It really did. Really did. The music, sound score was awesome too as well. Very good. Any chance for distribution, or is it going to be playing out anywhere, or what's the future hold?
Richie, thank you. Richie hosted us at Club 11, the first scene there in Maynardale. Yeah, so right now, so you saw the DVDs, we've made 200 DVDs. I'm working on putting it on Amazon, so people can watch it digitally. And then I haven't figured out how to drop ship the DVDs yet, but it's the first film, so I'm working out those kinks. But oh, and Dave's working on a release for the soundtrack as well, so probably on digital or
Yeah, it'll be all digital. Yeah, within the next year or so.
so we're figuring it out as we go, but it will get out there. So yes, great question. Thank you.
Excellent. And Richie,
Not just for allowing the shoot to happen at Club 11, but for that wonderful question. You have earned a DVD. You're welcome. So that's the first way we are distributing the DVDs, is by you asking questions and me giving you a DVD. Who has the next question? Oh. While I'm heading over there, is there something that somebody wants to add? Peter?
We don't need to do this right now, but I have a question for the audience based on what they saw. I want to see if they caught something.
Ooh, we'll do that in a moment.
So, for where I've been, what was was it just not giving up for inspiration, or was it something else?
Yep, so if you guys can pass that microphone down to Rebecca. Peter, that's your job. There you go. Yep, so Rebecca, what was the inspiration behind Where I've Been?
Well, the story hits kind of close to home for me, so it's semi-autobiographical. So I guess you could say instead of a writer, it's an actor. And yeah, so a lot of the experiences that Joanna went through, I myself have gone through. So that was the inspiration of the story. And then, like I mentioned earlier, a friend of mine is a violinist and put out that album, and while I was listening to it, I just saw the story, and so I started writing it. And that's really what truly inspired the story.
Terrific. Thank you, Rebecca. And thank you for your question. You earned Under the Mercy DVD. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself too?
Actually, I just want to ask Joe a question. Joe, when you received notification from the Prague Indie Film Festival that you were accepted, could you just show the audience what face you made?
I think the words I used, because I was at work, my friends from work are here too. Thank you guys for coming and supporting. I was at work, and I just kind of, I was looking at my phone while I was filling Coca-Cola. I'm a waiter, and like every actor, every starving artist. So, and there I am filling Coke, and on my phone, like I'm not supposed to be. And there I get the email, and I'm like, okay, we get denied from another one. Here we go. But then I saw we were accepted, and I just kind of went like this, and I told the first person I could see, I don't remember who it was. I was like, I'm gonna shit myself. I'm gonna shit myself. And then I was just flying around the room for the rest. All the customers were like, what drug is he on? And you know, that was, and I just told everybody that I could possibly see. So we not only did we get selected, but Dave won. He got honorable mention for the score, and we got I think we were semi-finalists for the film itself. So I mean, whenever somebody asks about the film or how we're doing the festivals, I just tell them we're really big in Prague. You know.
Awesome. A real follow-up question: did you shit yourself?
I did not.
Okay, good.
I don't know if I would tell everybody if I did either, but I did not. I did puke.
And you have earned yourself an Under the Mercy DVD.
I just wanted to mention, thank you, Michael John Haggerty, ladies and gentlemen. Michael John Haggerty is probably the most inspirational artistic person in Syracuse. He connects artists with other collaborators, and he runs the Wildflowers Armory downtown. If not, Michael is one of the most inspirational people for me in terms of like doing my art, because he connects a lot of artists and gives them a venue, gives them a place to show their art and do their art. He also featured Under the Mercy last year during COVID. He asked me to be a part of his digital art show. I think I'm going to butcher that one. But anyway, Michael John Haggerty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all that you do and for coming out today. I did want to mention, Rebecca is a lot more humble than I am, and she did not say that after she made this movie, she made the gutsy decision to move to Atlanta and try to get an agent, and was able to get an agent, and is now doing auditions like every single day, and trying to book. So she followed her dream. So that's not just a movie. She actually did it.
That's right. Rebecca following the inspiration that she received and shared through her own film. Absolutely.
She flew all the way up here just for this too.
So I'd like to hear any cool stories from people, but first, Peter, what was it like directing Joe after he continually drank vodka to prepare for this movie?
Could you say that again?
What was it like to direct Joe Cunningham as Chad Luce when he was in character? Because we all know Joe loves to method act, and so he was drinking vodka, I believe, to prepare, and then you had to control him.
Yeah, method acting can be a bitch for a director because you don't have just one take. You got 6 or 7 takes a lot of times, and you've got to be talking to Joe Cunningham, not to Chad Luce. So he managed. It was good. He, like the very first night when we were in Club 11, he was doing his damnedest to really become somebody else physically. And there was just enough there to work with so that we could tell him, "Oh, stand over there, and then we're going to bring some people over, to do a drug deal kind of thing." So it was not easy. I knew that I had a really great actor, though, when he did the scene with Chuck. That's when I stopped worrying about whether or not he was going to be able to carry this movie. He nailed it. He was so worried that he sucked. So, no, he's really a good actor.
I wanted to follow that up. I wanted to thank Peter, especially Peter, but also Eric in a special way too, because I wasn't such a pain in the ass. But also, I learned the hard way the limits that you have to put on yourself as a method actor, and you can't really go all out. I was a real dick, to say the least, when we first started shooting. I even went so far, and I can't blame myself for being in character. This is something I actually did. I rewrote the entire, most of Act 2, and I sent it to the cast, and I was like, "This is what we're doing." And and then a couple days later, I apologized to Eric, and we went back to a script. And if we didn't, the movie would have been terrible. So these guys were so patient to deal with all that. And then me and Peter had to have a heart-to-heart pretty early on, and we came up with that idea that I was like, "Peter, just talk to me and say Joe Cunningham when you want me to do something." And again, that was my first one. I also want to give a quick shout out to Chuck Teska, who can't be here tonight, and we all know why. And Chuck, I don't know if I told him that it was my first movie, my first dialogue in a movie, but he met with me 5 times before, and it was his idea. He was always like, "Let's meet again, let's meet again." And we would meet at Wegmans, and we would run through the lines, and I would always start talking about movies and get him off, and they'd be like, "No, let's do it again, let's do it again." And if not for Chuck, that was the first time I ever spoke in a movie. And if not for Chuck, getting me started on that, like Peter said I was good, I would have been terrible if not for Chuck. And Chuck, the day that we did it, he stayed in character more than I did. And every time I tried to joke around with him as Chuck, he brought me back. And, and then Peter, the whole time, he had the storyboards. We had 4 hours in that bank. You can't do that in 4 hours. But Peter had a shot list. We had 4 hours in the warehouse, and it was 100 million degrees in there. And you can't do that in 4 hours, but Peter did it. And Eric, if not for that brilliant scene with the panhandler that I butchered, and we went back to your beautiful version of it, the movie wouldn't make any sense. And I figured that out tonight more than anything. So thank these guys for putting up with that.
Well, I got a question for the crowd. Who do you guys think was in makeup the longest? Joe. Don't forget about the junkie too. Y'all remember his face.
I still say Joe.
Yours was an hour and a half? Oh my God.
It looks like Joe's still in makeup.
It was Joe.
Question for y'all. All right, in the opening scene, the young ladies are getting dialed up in the bathroom. Right. Was there something irregular that you saw happen in that scene? So
over here, hold on. She blurted it out first.
A man walked through.
A man walked through the ladies' room.
Okay, so this is how that happened. The gentleman that played that, he was originally told by Joe that he would be outside. You know when the biker chick and the biker came in, right? He was going to be there. But for some reason he didn't hear that we were doing that scene, and so he missed his opportunity to be in the movie. So the scene with the girls in the bathroom was not actually in the script. That was actually something that the girl that's doing the cocaine on the sink, she came up with that. So all of a sudden I thought, let's put him in the bathroom. Have him walk out. And then I thought, maybe we'll start something, like we'll go, oh yeah, that's a Syracuse thing.
We have no idea what gender he was identifying as, so that's okay. I actually have a question for James regarding the Trent Lockwood series. So, Trent Lockwood and the Doomsday Machine, that was the first movie, our introduction to Trent?
Correct, yep. His first time on screen.
And Trent's second movie?
Was just premiered at the Syracuse International Film Festival this past weekend.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah. Let's give it up for that, right? He was in the Syracuse Film Festival last week. Can you share how it did?
Well, it was, I don't really know if there's going to be awards or whatever, so I'm just still waiting to find out, but so far, I don't know. But everyone who watched it seemed to like it. They all harassed me with questions too, so.
Excellent. All right, thank you. Is there another question that we have for our panel? Okay, so it is, as a matter of fact. So their reception will continue in the lobby. There are beverages and refreshments available for you. The merchandise table is open and available. Like I said, DVDs are there, t-shirts, posters. You've got a whole bunch of people here that would probably be willing to autograph if somebody has a pen or a Sharpie. I hope that wasn't my job to remember, because I did not. Afterwards, so that will go on till 11. There's also some food, some hors d'oeuvres out there, refreshments provided by, oh my goodness, Jackie, right? Oh, Debbie's at the merchandise table. And Jackie, okay. So please feel free to enjoy. At 11 o'clock, we're all going to begin our migration to celebrate our after party at the same place that a lot of these shots began, Al's Whiskey Bar and Lounge. You're all welcome to join us there as well. I have tip towels off that we may be heading over. So, yeah, it's really cool over there. So please, let's go, let's mingle. And thank you all for joining us this evening. Let's hear it one more time.
Thank you, Dan, for ending master ceremonies. Thank you so much.